Did you say 12 point something billion has gone to people's pocket?
Yes, that's what he said. That's and this is what they have done into people's pockets, and that has been done since 2017 through major initiatives. You know, yeah, all the major initiatives. You know, at every point
is it 2 billion or 12.2 billion? I just want to be sure.
I thought it said 12.2 billion. Yeah.
12.2 billion.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Free SHS is an initiative. All the initiative, NAPCO, everything else.
Okay.
So we are checking. Have they fixed what is broken? He says that's what they have been doing, and they continue to do so in 2020, including resolving DUMSO.
Well, we all know that DUMSO is a settled matter. I mean, it was resolved in 2016, so it's not about what they say now. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, I'll suggest that is in dispute.
Well,
DUMSO was
cannot be
by
in
the
dispute.
NPP.
Baumia himself had said
really?
that in 2016, Baumia had said that we should not be giving credit for fixing DUMSO. He said it in 2016. If it wasn't fixed, he wouldn't have said that. He cannot now be changing. So
they're still struggling to fix
anyway, yeah, I don't know how, is that the way we are going to go? Or,
no, it's your time. Okay. But there are certain things you should be able to agree on.
Okay.
Yeah, you are saying DUMSO was not fixed. You fixed DUMSO.
Adam Smith go on first.
I mean,
the facts would be contrary to that claim that the NPP government came to fix DUMSO.
What are the facts? The facts are that it's not just a question of the lights being on. It's a question of rationalizing the entire energy sector. The fact that we are now dealing with take or pays on which we are spending in excess of 600 million a year. The fact that we have now achieved free flow of funds within the sector. The fact that now it is working and working effectively.
But DUMSO was resolved before the NPP took over.
Not necessarily. How many ministers had to resign? Ndc'S had to resign.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Yes. Have they been fixing what is broken?
Well, first, I think I have to start from this 12 point something billion. Yeah. So if that's the case, then you just pick the budget of any government, and you say that all social spending goes to people's pockets. And for that reason, you compare social spending to social spending. And what is social spending? Healthcare is social spending. And so when a government builds a lot of infrastructure for the healthcare delivery of the country, you build a lot of cheap compounds, and you are able to ensure that you scale up the delivery of healthcare. That is social spending. So how much was that went into people's pocket? We built several schools in order to give people access to education and to make sure that children were able to go to school. We introduced what we call progressively free SHS. That is social spending. How much did that cost? You look at the direct, what we call the direct social protection programs that were instituted, such as providing free school uniforms, providing free sandals for kids, making sure that children were not paying for textbooks and all of that. So when you put all of that, that is social spending. So are they now indicating the debate as to which government provided more allocation to social spending than the other?
We know the free SHS situation and how directly parents are benefiting.
Yeah, and that is what I'm saying. So who is paying for free SHS? It is the same parents who are paying for the free SHS. Okay, is government getting money from the moon to pay for free SHS and to fund those social interventions? So you take money from my pocket through taxes to fund programs, and you say you put money back in my pocket. Okay, then if that's the case, how much in taxes have you collected in total in 3 years? Because you took that from the pocket of Ghanaians. And you are talking in excess of 200 billion Ghana cedis taken directly from the pockets of Ghanaians in order to fund government. In fact, to fund 110 ministers, 135 ministers. And in return, you say you've given them 12 billion. So who is taking whose advantage now? That you took monies from the people's pocket of almost 200 billion. You are saying you put 12 billion back in their pocket. If you subtract that, who is suffering now? And so that's why when you go asking the average Ghanaian, they put their hands in their pocket. They rather see a depot. There's nothing there. Because they have funded those projects from their own taxes. It is not as if a government came with money and has gone to provide freebies to people. No. So this concept of putting money into people's pocket is an insult to the average Ghanaian who every day is toiling to fund government machinery, who every day is struggling and paying taxes to fund corruption, who every day is struggling and contributing taxes after they've worked so hard and to get home, and the next day they can't find a job because they have been asked to go home from the collapse of banking sector. And so for any government that is sensitive to the plight of Ghanaians, you never will go on the path of saying that you are putting the same people's money back in.
So let's look at the budget.
So that is the first
and
one.
I'm saying, are they fixing what is broke, or they are not?
Let's understand.
We know.
Let's understand.
We know that he's preaching from taxation to production, and we are aware of 50% reduction on import duties from April. That's been going on.
So now, in 2017, the NPP assumes power. They didn't have a budget. They were spending on vote of account that was passed in 2016 for 3 months. They managed to put a budget together that is approved towards the last day of March 2017. The revenue measures and the programs, particularly the revenue measures that they put there in order to generate the resources, began to be implemented around August, September in 2017. In fact, the whole of 2017, they claimed that they were putting the legal framework together to be able to fund some of their programs, because their programs had to be delivered through the development authorities. So basically 2018 was a wasted year. Okay. And yet, it was in 2017, when they basically did nothing. In fact, they didn't even have a program until after the year when they now had these laws being passed. They didn't even have tax policies that were working until somewhere around September or October, August, September. The economy, that's why he calls it miraculous, because then the economy grows by 8.1%, even when you were sleeping. Okay, so one would expect that now that you are in full gear and your feet is on the ground, what do we expect to see? Leaps and bounds, right? The following year, you are now saying that that 8.1 that you slept and got has now come to around 6.3%. And you say you fix what? Do you know that in economic management, policies and programs have pass-through effects? So that even in 2017, the programs and actions of 2016 were impacting the economy. Okay, and that is why you saw that massive growth in 2017. So you then realize that even in 2017, when you did nothing, okay, the manufacturing sector grew from 7.9% in 2016 to 9.5% when you were sleeping. Now by 2018, when you are now in full gear and you are talking about industrialization, one district, one factory, what do we see? We see a 4% growth from 9.5% when you were sleeping and then doing nothing. It now comes to 4.1 or thereabout. Agriculture, in 2017, when you had done nothing, suddenly registers 4.7% growth. And when you are now implementing your program, it comes to 4%, and now we are looking at 2.6%. So quite clearly, the glory of 2017 is beginning to show their true levels in 2018 and 2019, when they now put the 110 ministers together and began to run their programs. And you know why? The facts are simple. 2017, you invested basically nothing. Development authorities were not set up. By 2018, you spent only 35 million Ghana cedis out of an amount, just multiply $270 million by 5. You were looking at about 1.3 billion that would have gone into all the flagship programs under the special development initiatives. We ended the year with you spending 35 million Ghana cedis.
Your claim in the agriculture sector, I don't know where that figure is from the finance minister's figures that he gives. The planting for food and jobs all have taken us very far to a very, enviable position. So he says in paragraph 32, he talks about 2.9 GDP, agri GDP growth. I don't know what the difference is. Agri GDP growth, 2.9% in 2016, 4.8% in 2018, projected to grow 6.4% in 2019.
Now, if your cameraman can zoom onto this, it is his own data. This is the budget. Is that not the budget? Good. If you can zoom in on this table, this graph here that he's plotted. Just zoom in. Are you getting it? Good. That is it. So look at the thin line that is running through. You see from 2014, it was somewhere here. Agri grew up to 2017. You see the growth? After 2017, you see where it is going? It has declined all the way to this level. It is not my graph.
But how do you reconcile that with his statement in paragraph 32 of the
But if he's lying in paragraph 32, why should I be the one worried about that? He's not speaking to the data he has published. He's speaking to what he wants to say.
Sorry, but I don't think you should be saying
okay, so
he's lying.
You may not be.
I don't think you should be saying he's lying.
Well, if he's saying something that is not supported by his own facts, why should I be the one worried about that? Because he has given you a graph that shows the growth of his agriculture sector. And you can see that the graph is showing that there is a consistent decline. Why do I have to? Look, the graph is showing you.
What are the figures on the graph?
No, I'm coming. He himself, even in the report, says that. Mr. Speaker, this.
You got the wrong graph.
No, it's not. I'm coming.
Yeah, Adam Smith.
No. Agriculture. He said, Mr. Speaker, growth in agriculture sector was 2.2% and 3.3% in the first quarter and second quarter, respectively, compared to 4.7% and 4.5%. Okay? Are you saying that 4.5 of the previous year, 4.7 of the previous year, now moving to 2.2 and 3.1 is not a decline? And this graph, the graph here, is a continuation of this paragraph. And the continuation of the paragraph now shows you what he has actually plotted, which is confirming a decline in agriculture output in terms of growth. Not a decline in output, but a decline in the growth. And this is when you claim you have spent a lot of money on agriculture through planting for food and jobs. And you are now quoting data and graphing it to show that there's a declining growth. I am not the one saying it. So if he now goes to another paragraph and he says something else, that is his own cup of tea.
He also tells us about the financial sector growth, but you say it's been a negative growth.
Okay. So the financial sector, Chief, I beg, if you can zoom this one too. That's his own data. It's not mine.
That's page.
This is page 22. There's a graph there. Okay. I think table 5.
Okay.
Just zoom on it.
Yes. Go ahead and make your statement as they do so.
What he is saying here, financial sector, source, Ghana Statistical Service. He says that in 2017, agriculture, financial and insurance grew by negative 17.7. It grew by negative 8.2, and now it is about negative 12.6. It's not my data. That is Ken Oforiatta's data. Now he goes in another paragraph, and he says something else. That is his problem. But the facts here don't support the things he's saying in that paragraph. And why should I be the one answering that? Ken should be answering and be reconciling what he's saying there to this data. Okay?
We have groups like the AGI who have said that, who are full of applause for this budget, suggesting that it gives predictability for the 2020 year.
The AGI is in the business of manufacturing, right? It's in the business of manufacturing.
That's right.
Again, zoom in on the manufacturing sector here. Just zoom in on the manufacturing sector. It's not my data, it is Ken Oforiatta's data in his budget. Okay. What the data is saying is that manufacturing, okay, 2016, 7.9%. 2017, when they were sleeping, 9.5%. 2018, 4.1%, and now 4%. And you are saying AGI says when they are declining in growth, they are excited. Well, they can be excited. But they were the very people who were complaining about the benchmark rates, right? So the data here does not suggest that anything is being fixed. I try so hard to look at the numbers for our external sector, to understand what our import levels are looking at, to understand what our export levels are looking at, to understand how our reserves, particularly gross reserves and our net international reserves are performing, to see the rate at which we are getting flows, okay, from the external sector, to support whether or not the city is doing better or worse, and to see where the city is in terms of its trajectory. Let me go. Look at
yeah, but you should be taking a breather on that, and then I'll go around.
Let me just end this one. Let me just land this. So the external sector development, I go to page 25. External sector is about those matters I have raised. Okay, Colonel Foriata now goes to page 25. And he's talking about the external sector. I want to show you what he's talking about.
Take your time.
No, it's important that you see
destroying your
external
data.
sector. Again, just zoom in on external sector. Then you see this document is full of deception, and I want the people of Ghana to see it for what it is. Good. That's the external sector. You see why he's talking about the external sector? He say update on excess capacity challenges in the energy sector. That is the external sector for him. It's not about imports. It's not about exports. It's not about capital flows. It's not about international reserves. It's not about net international reserves. It's about the energy sector. I come through the entire section, and there's no word on the external sector. So this document, is this thing talking about energy sector or the external sector? And in the entire document, you don't find him give us the external sector development. Then he goes in another paragraph to say that the CD depreciation has slowed, and you don't know where he's getting the data. But the data is available from Bank of Ghana. And the data from Bank of Ghana is saying that when the CD depreciated by only 4.8% in 2017 when they were sleeping, by 2018 when they assumed the full reins of power, it went up to 8.8, almost doubling. And as of September this year, the CD has depreciated by 9.2%. In other words, the CD depreciation we saw in the beginning of the year that we were complaining was around 5% and we're complaining. Now it is exacerbated by 9.2. Now show me how a movement from 4.8 to 8.8 to 9.2 is a slowdown of depreciation. But he goes to a paragraph and says something that is not consistent with the data, and he consciously does not provide the data in this document.
Okay, you hold on there for me. I don't know, but if I may just ask this, are you saying that this budget document you are reading, you are unable to find anything that projects accuracy about forward movement of the economic management?
You see, the projection about the forward movement of the economy is even problematic. I'll show you several other things. If you want me to show you.
No, I just wanted a brief statement. I'll go to Dr. Said. Yeah. I'll come to you later.
The challenge
after
you remember that we issued a Eurobond of 11 billion, of 2 billion to support the budget. That is a deficit financing. Okay, if you multiply $2 billion by just 5.5, you get $11 billion. Okay, 11 billion Ghana cedis. All right. The man says that his domestic financing of the budget is about 9.5 billion. Okay, and you borrowed 11 billion from external sources. If you add this to this, what figure are you getting? You are getting over 20 billion. He goes on to say that his foreign financing is about 5.3 billion. It is difficult to reconcile these numbers. Clearly, the deficit has been cooked. Because 11 billion added to the numbers we are seeing for foreign or even the domestic financing cannot be giving you that figure. So how come you have borrowed to finance the budget and it is not appearing in your deficit? So I am saying that the deficit that we are looking at is already at dangerous levels for Colonel Foriata because of the potential of going to jail for breaching the Fiscal Responsibility Act. And it is the reason we are not getting. The language is what it is.
Economic, cooked, jail.
The Fiscal Responsibility Act. The Fiscal Responsibility Act has criminal punishment.
Yes, if you go past 5%.
For the minister?
Yes.
If you go past 5%. And you are saying he has done beyond 5%.
He's already showing 4.7%.
So he's not gone 5%.
And I'm showing you that 4% is because that 11 billion, we don't see it. If you add that 11 billion to the borrow that he has borrowed domestically to finance the budget, or even the external financing of about 5.3, you are heading towards almost 20 billion. So if 15 billion is giving you 4.7%, it means that to hit the 5%, you have only 0.3%. Meanwhile,
hold on
over 5 billion is shaved off the deficit.
Thank you.